In today's video, learn how to fly with Cardrew 1. Spook those spectres with skills never been seen before. Fly through the air like that kid in the snowman. This tutorial will show you everything you need to know about flying in Paranormica, so make sure you subscribe to this channel.
Limited time only. Offer and coverage not available everywhere.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I should point out this tutorial is mainly aimed at PC and laptop users. Mobile users find it incredibly difficult to use the drag function in this game. I've helped someone who is using an iPad to fly, so I'm guessing it's easier to drag on larger touchscreens. But for laptop users, a good tip is that it's much easier to drag items using a mouse rather than the touchpad. I have made this video before, but it was slightly different. It was a lot older. It's one of my early videos. So I thought I'd do a more update version with my voice telling you what to do rather than having to read it on the screen. Now, to drag an item, you will need to click on it with your mouse button, but instead of releasing it, you have to keep the button held down all the time. Releasing the button will drop the item back on the ground, or if you release it straight after clicking it, it will just pick up the item and put it back in your inventory again. Starting with the video camera, the best way to position it is to have it pointing towards you. So drag the camera in front of you and begin to walk. As you walk into the camera, you'll begin to climb onto the leg of the tripod. You will then need to look up using your mouse, and the camera will start to rise up into the air with you holding on like it is right now. Remember to keep the mouse button held down. You'll see here, if I fly with the back of the camera facing me, I only start to rise when the tripod turns slightly, and it allows me to climb onto the leg. If you don't get it straight away, just keep practicing. It won't always work first time, but you will soon get the hang of it. At first you might find you'll only fly for a short time, like this, maybe because you've tried to change direction before you were ready, or you may have just slipped off because you weren't on very securely or something, but you'll fall like I did just now. It's just a case of getting used to it, so don't get too frustrated by it happening. The most common thing that makes you fall is that you never quite got onto it right. You got maybe into the right position on the tripod. You may have clambered on it like this and be scrambling onto the top. So when you turn like this, you just end up falling when you change direction. Practice, soon enough you'll be flying with ease, just like this. It's quite straightforward really. If you don't manage to climb onto the leg of the tripod, this is going to happen. You're going nowhere when you're like this, so just drop it, get in the position where the camera faces you, and you can mount the tripod more easily. So grab it maybe just underneath the camera, pull it towards you, walk into it, look up, and very soon you should be airborne. Now the next thing to show you how to use smaller items to fly. So starting with the lantern, you need to drag the lantern and look down. You need to get it to as close to your feet as you can. So basically you drag the lantern and it's almost like you're walking on top of it. While you're doing this, as you're moving forward, start to look up and you will start to fly. When in the air, you can change direction, head towards rooftops and treetops or wherever you are. The spirit book works exactly the same way. It's a little bit easier to fly with than the lantern. Just drop the book, drag it towards your feet and repeat as before. Pull it right here so it looks like you're about to step on top of it. Walk forwards so you're walking on the book. As you're moving forward, start to look up and you will start to fly. If you're wondering, you might have just seen it, there it is. If you're wondering why a lantern appears to be hovering in midair, I'll explain that to you in a minute. But for now, we'll try the bird cage. The process is exactly the same, although this can be a little trickier than a lantern in the spirit book, but if you practice, most of the time you should be able to do this just like I have now, just lift off. When you've flown up onto a roof or a shelf or whatever, you may want to continue to fly but not have space to make a run up. So for this you need to basically dangle the object while using drag. You need to hang the birdcage or book, whichever you have, over the edge beneath you. Step off the ledge, and onto the item and continue to fly as before by walking forward while still holding the mouse button, and you will do this. So you've literally just stepped onto the item and flown. This is really, really useful. Now I'm going to try it with the lantern, doing the same thing. I'm going to pull it towards me, underneath my feet, walk forward, look up. I will become airborne. Change direction in the air, just like you would normally left or right with your mouse. I've landed on the roof. I'm going to drag the lantern over the ledge, step onto it, and continue flying as before. Mouse button held down, looking up, pushing forward with the W button to walk forward. If I want to turn left, I move the mouse left. The better you get at this, the smaller the objects you can fly with. So this time, I'm going to use the spirit box, which might seem really unlikely, but it's quite easy once you get used to it. It does look too small compared to the other items, especially when you compare it to the camera. Enough practice, you should be able to do what I'm doing now. I'm also able to dangle it over the side and fly again with it, like I've just shown you with the other items. See, it's quite straightforward really. Just a bit of practice. Now back to the lantern in midair. Right, I've chosen to do this video on the abandoned lap map because there are a couple of locations that you can get to if you know how to fly or you know how to climb. I'll get on to talking about climbing in a minute, but you may notice on this map there's an invisible barrier that stops you getting to the house near the lab. This is a transparent wall, so where the lantern is now is actually the top of the wall, which means because we're on the top we can now drop down to the other side. If you'd noticed from the truck before, there is a mysterious door in the distance, so I'm going to head towards the door. But before I get there, I will have to get over another invisible wall that stands in the way. If I keep walking, I'll walk. Here we go. I can't go any further than this. So to get over this wall, I'm going to have to fly or climb. So quickly, I'm going to attempt to climb. I will explain more about climbing in a minute. But this is how you do it. You can see the wall is high because of the time it's taken me to climb up it. Now what happens now is the lantern flings over the top of the wall and I fall back down, so I never actually made it over the top. You can see the lantern on the other side, so the wall here you can see is stopping me getting close to it. I can't even get anywhere near it to even click on it to pick it up. So with the camera I'm going to do what I showed you and fly over the wall. It's been a while since I've been over here, but from what I remember, the wall I think is a little bit shorter along the left side of the doorway, so I may not have to fly as high. But as you can see here, I've turned slightly and I'm kind of moving up alongside the invisible wall, so I should be able to drop down when I got onto the top. Nearly there. And down I go. Right, sorry if you couldn't see that too well, it's a bit dark. So what I've done is fly over an invisible wall near the item table, walk through some long grass to another invisible wall, and flown over that one. And as you can see, here's the mysterious door. What's beyond it, I hear you ask? Well, it's actually pretty crazy what happens, because when you open it, step into the other side, things get a bit weird. Now check this out. Okay, you ready? Right, I kind of need that lantern. Let me just drop the spirit box so I can take the lantern. Right, okay, brace yourselves for this. Right, here goes. This is nuts, hold on tight. Going in. Right, if you look, everything starts spinning like crazy. It's like I'm being flung. I can barely see anything at all, and then suddenly I end up... Inspector! Yeah, no, just kidding. It's just a pointless doorway. Nothing exciting. So what I'm going to do now is... Sorry, that was a really bad joke. So I'm going to grab my lantern, walk further out towards the edge of the map so I can get a good run up and I have plenty of space to fly, because I have to fly high up to the top of the trees to get over that really high wall. So I need to be careful I don't fall off the map. Walking towards where the moon is really... I'm not too far from the edge of the map. What I need to do is completely clear everything in one go. Make sure I'm high enough. I think this should be far enough. So I'm going to drag it under my feet, the lantern, sorry, under my feet, walk towards the wall and look up. There you can see I'm already high above the mysterious door. hopefully I'll clear the wall, the big wall, the first time. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see I'm over the treetops. So as I get close to the truck, I just need to drop down just before we get to the other invisible wall. And then hopefully we can have a look around the house that sits above the abandoned lab. Now the truck's almost underneath me. I think it's safe to drop down now. I'll give it a little bit further. Oh, I've gone too far. I need to push right while I fall. Have I made it? Yes, that was close. I bumped the top of that invisible wall. But I'm here outside the house, which you can't get to unless you fly over that wall. I need to glitch to get inside this house. The glitch can take a long time, but if you do it, but to do it you have to basically push into a window or a doorway, look up with your mouse and then down really quickly and try and spam him. Now, I'm incredibly lucky because I did do it first time. Like, it never happened. 95% of the time I'll just get flung somewhere, but I did it that time. This is the inside of the house. I just thought I'd show you guys in case you've never been in before. It's completely unfurnished. There's actually, it'd be nice if there was like a little Easter egg in here or something like that, a secret badge, but there's nothing. There's a stag head mounted on the wall and literally nothing else. You can't click on the door. I'm sure I've been in the rooms before. Hang on. Oh yeah, just walk through the door and go into the room. I might as well go into the other room and show you. Oh, drop my lantern. There's nothing in here. It's just empty. So that's it really. Let's just get back to the tutorial. Now I'm going to show you how to climb using the items. The technique behind it is almost the same as flying. You'll need the item to be on the floor, but this time you need to drag it into the bottom of the wall. Push forward into the wall as if you're stepping onto it and look up, and you should go in the direction you're looking. If you're struggling to fly by walking, lifting off the floor, this is a good way to get up onto a ledge and fly off. So if I try here against the garage, I can get onto a small ledge above the garage door. I can just drop onto the lantern and fly off. Now the advantage of climbing is being able to get up onto like high shelves, which are usually just out of the way of the ghost's reach. So here in the washroom, it's easy to climb up here. See, I'm kind of safe. I haven't seen a ghost jump up there before, so it's not 100% safe, but I've never been killed up there. The same in here in the garage. I can just climb up onto, I don't know what you call this really, these railings. It's possible to get onto the shelf here in the guest bedroom. The bookcase isn't a safe spot. A lot of people think it is. Just because it is on difficulty 1, it's not on difficulty 5 or 20. Ghosts can climb up the bookcases. Slightly more safer up here. If you fly, you should be able to do what I'm doing now, which is go from room to room without touching the floor. A single story house is the best to practice this on. I've never been killed on the cupboard tops above the cooker, which is where I'm going now. The high place next to the sink isn't safe because the ghost can climb onto the worktop. But yeah, you should be able to just fly from cupboard to cupboard without touching the floor. In the living room's another place I've never been killed up here. The ghost can jump onto the couch, so technically it can jump onto the shelf from the couch. But once you get used to flying, you should be able to do what I'm doing now, which is go from inside all the way to outside without touching the floor. Now we're going to go to prison. We're going to try to climb in the prison wall. Now if you hit the bricks that overhang from the top, you can simply drop onto the narrow ledge beneath you, dangle the lantern or whatever you're using underneath you, and then fly up onto the roof. Like this. To stand the best chance of a perfect climb, position the item horizontally so you're less likely to fall off on the way up. If you get it right, you'll avoid the overhang and go all the way straight onto the roof. Like this. Of course, you can always just fly directly up from the ground. Up on the roof, you will find the secret badge. So if you already have it, you can always just bring it down for your teammates. The good thing about the Easter egg on the roof is that it's the easiest item to fly on. So my tip here would be to just use this to practice on. If you're getting used to flying, climb onto the roof, get the secret badge, Easter egg, whatever it is. Go for a little fly on it. Practice changing directions. You've got a lot of space on prison. You can adjust your height, look up to go high, look down to go low. It's always the most stable to fly on. And as you can see here, it goes left easily. Now, back inside the prison, you can climb onto the gym equipment to get away from the ghost. You can climb onto the refrigerator in the canteen kitchen. There's a very safe spot from the ghost, so I've definitely never been killed there. You can check your temperature, safety. Upstairs, you can find items anywhere really that you can fly on. When you get really good, you can get all cocky and fly over the ghost like this. So I hope that helps. Sorry if I've rushed through it a bit. There is a lot to say. I wanted to keep the video short. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just write one in a comment, I'll answer it.